Yeah, we'll move on
Incredible.
to number 5. It is The
Where are we?
Last Duel, directed
No,
by
that's not it.
Ridley
That's
Scott. And
This is a point in the stream where I start losing the plot with graphics, so we'll see movies coming up that
Stars.
shouldn't be.
Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Jodie Comer, and I think Ben Affleck's in there. I know he did write part of the screenplay. Ben
Affleck is
Ben
in there.
Affleck. Yeah,
Yeah,
is
he's
there.
got a blonde
Yeah.
haircut.
Yeah,
in
he's
this.
a
Yeah.
blonde one in the poster, right?
His haircut is god awful in this movie. It's a
Wow.
man who has no hair. He'd be saying that is.
I did not recognise him in that poster.
Oh, that's him there. Yeah,
I
he's
Yeah.
don't
got,
recognize him in the movie either.
Yeah.
he's got like the
Wow.
Jake Paul sort of soul patch going on. It just looks weird.
He's
He didn't
almost
grow
got
that
the
out.
same kind of jaw as your man who played what's his name, Michael Shannon.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of look about
That's
him when he
thinking
played
more
General
Ron
Zod.
Perlman, but okay.
But anyway, I digress. This coming in at number 5, Gianni. Ridley Scott. We all love his movies anyway. This is one, John, that you were talking about for
We've
quite
talked
a
about
long,
this for months on
long
end.
time. Yeah, the last.
I watched
3
the
or 4 months.
first 10 minutes of this movie, man, when it released, and I've still not seen this movie. What is going on, man? How have I missed this movie?
Yeah,
I cannot believe I've not seen this
especially
movie.
will love it.
It's not just that, Gianni. I was talking about colour palettes and stuff like that. Oh, I love the palettes. I love what they're doing with this movie. The vibe, it just feels like it's hopeless. There's something going on. It's just foreboding the way, everything about the cinematography. I loved it. I don't know if I've not watched this movie. I love Adam Driver as well. I think he's underrated. He's rated, but still underrated for me. Adam, I just love him.
Unbelievable. Yeah, every time I see Adam Driver, I'm always like completely captivated. There's just no depth that man is unwilling.
Have you seen Marriage Story, Gianni?
I loved Marriage
Oh,
Story.
Jesus
Actually, it was
Christ.
my list from last year that I wrote.
Yep.
He's incredible, man. He's absolutely outstanding, Adam Driver.
Unbelievable.
And to be such a bastard in a sense, to be this sort of carefree, just caught up in the arts kind of character in that movie, and then to just
Yeah, but
completely
always-
turn it
yeah,
and make you kind
I
of hate
always
Scarlett
find
Johansson.
that, Adam Driver always has like a dark humour in any character he plays. You know,
Definitely.
whether that be in a Star Wars movie, or what was the one he did with the heist with Channing Tatum? That was an amazing film. He played his brother.
Oh yeah, they were Southerners. Yeah, they were Southern
I
American.
can't remember what it was called, but I always got
Yeah.
it was 2 words, and I always get the words round the wrong way. I always got it wrong, but
Can't remember.
there's just something about the guy as well. I love, and I think just his sort of range and his depth in acting, and
Yeah.
there's nothing that this guy won't do. He's a risk
Black
taker.
Klansman,
You know,
Jesus
and
Christ. Playing a Jewish
exactly.
guy
Yeah.
infiltrating the clan,
Yeah, yeah.
and he makes it work.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm getting off. I'm sorry, I'm talking about Adam Driver. That's another hour. I could speak about that guy for an hour, Gianni. The Last Duel, man. You need to sell me more. I'm already sold on this. It's Ridley Scott. The cast is incredible. Jodie Comer's apparently outstanding. The visuals. Sell me more in this, Gianni. Why should I go and watch this movie? Because I know I should watch it, but you need to now
Sure,
sell me.
I would
Finish
say
watching it.
that,
Yeah, I
I
started watching it. Yeah. 10 minutes.
I'm of the particular opinion that like whatever you see, you have your favorites, and then you have like what you can call the best, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I do think I subscribe to the belief, and maybe people disagree, that there is a sort of objective level of criticism that you can take a step back from and acknowledge that something may be better than something else.
Yeah.
And this is why like I have things on the list, and I said this earlier. I think the joke that I had in the review was like, you may think that the Shaggy Dog is like objectively better movie than Zoom, but you may like Zoom more. You know what I mean? Like, so I do subscribe to that belief, and it's something that I hold very dear. What I would say about The Last Duel,
We know
is that
it's subjective. It's all
it's probably
subjective.
objectively the best movie that I've seen this year.
There you go.
But it's my number 5 on the list because there's just things I personally was had more of an affinity to. But I think objectively, like in terms of talking about cinematography, in terms of especially the narrative and the way the story is sort of interwoven, and performances, I think they're all uniformly excellent and just progress and get better and better and better the more they sort of reveal themselves. But in my personal opinion, I think this is Ridley Scott's best work since the 80s. I think that he's absolutely unmatched here. And I'm including The Gladiator in that as well. I think that this is some of his most daring and bold work. He is just absolutely on another stratosphere of showcasing just how absolutely harsh and gruesome this world is. You talked about the color palette earlier. I think that's
perfect.
It's a brilliant thing.
Blues
to
and
notice
greys and sort of
because-
muted greens. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's
There's
so
something about it.
pervasive, right? And
It
it
is.
feels like it's literally growing on your body as it goes, and that's the film itself as well. It's like, and even you come to sort of realize in the way that the structure of the narrative sort of unfolds is that the things that they sort of reveal to you slowly. It's the little intricacies, the little edits that Ridley like sort of layers throughout the whole film. All of these things just sort of they capitalize on one another, and by the time you come to the end of it, you realize just how deeply the film has actually like permeated into your very system as well, where you come to this epic climax, this epic conclusion that in a lesser film would simply be exactly what it is. It would just be this epic moment, right? And instead it doesn't feel triumphant at all. It feels like you feel like you sort of withered and wasted away along with this this character played by Jodie Comer. And
she's the character I'm most intrigued by in this movie. Because
I think
she's quite standoffish in the 10 minutes I watched. It's all about the sort of duel between Matt Damon's character and Adam Driver. They're kind of fighting. Something's happened. They don't really tell you exactly, but there's an accusatory sort of focus on Adam Driver in the first 10 minutes. That's all I really got from it. But she was quite standoffish, and she seemed like quite an important figure. Same with obviously Ben Affleck's character. He had that ridiculous get-up, but he was kind of standoffish. So it was intriguing to me, and I heard she was incredible. That was the one takeaway. She was stunning.
What's brilliant about like those characters in particular, like the Ben Affleck character, the Jodie Comer character, is that when you watch the film, like at first they're just sort of supporting like peripheral people. And it's not until you start to see their relationships with other characters from those characters' perspectives that you start to actually understand and know what they're up to, what their inner workings are, or how they perceive themselves as well. And so like the way that the character relationships are handled in this film is constantly giving new credence, new weight to how these characters are sort of interwoven together. It's constantly redefining who these characters are. And so like, you know, I talked earlier about the power of the dog, how it rewards you for paying attention. I would argue that The Last Duel rewards you even more for paying attention, because the little nuances, the little things that you notice, the way someone takes off their shoes, even something as simple as that, is actually like a major pivotal plot point.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
It's unbelievable. It's like,
that's a level of detail even I've not seen.
Especially if you're a Ridley Scott fan, especially if this type of movie, you saw the trailer and you were like, oh, that atmosphere looks really interesting to me. The movie is nothing but rewarding to you.
I need to watch it.
I promise you, it is so good, so provocative, really, really gets under your skin. In some instances, it's really a horror movie. Like it's completely unafraid of bending genre of politics for its own gain. It's a brilliant film.
And here's my dog coming in.
Yeah.
By all accounts, a story of patriarchy as well. And obviously the effects of that on that world at that point, but then obviously the implications for modern day society as well. We spoke about that before we came on. My dog's destroying me here.
Yeah.
Big 6.5 stone Labrador. This is something that's still prevalent to current society. We are still seeing a sort of toxic nature to masculinity and the effects of that on women. I don't want to get down the rabbit hole with that, because I'm not intelligent enough to do it justice, but it's something that has to be, a light has to be shone upon that, and I'm glad to see the likes of Ridley Scott using a big blockbuster movie to try and hit this home. Now you could see, I mean, I searched it up there, and the first thing is it a feminist? I don't give a shit. That's not important. You need to be getting this message out. And I like the fact that he's using this, and he's using such a great actress like a Jodie Comer. He's using a great ensemble of male actors like your Ben Affleck, your Matt Damons, your Adam Drivers. For me, undoubted ability that all of those guys have to tell this story. And that was again something that came through when I looked at the reviews, the reactions, that it was an important message. It was getting painted as an aside to the aesthetic, as an aside to the performances. And that's something we always do it, Stephen, when we review movies. We always try to look for the inner meaning. Sometimes I'll go a bit deeper. Yeah. Maybe too deep.
Sometimes we'll go too far, we miss the point, yeah.
Sometimes we'll look for something that ain't there. And it's maybe just a basic movie, and we'll try to find something a bit deeper. But I always like movies that tell important stories, that portray a good message to the world. And that's why I loved Parasite of recent years. I think it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, because of the message it was portraying of society, modern day society, obviously in Korea, but as an aside to the entire world. It's something that's pertinent. The top 1%, the 99 that have nothing.
Listen, Harley's making me very nervous.
Yes, I'm going to quickly bail here
Yeah.
and shut this
Well,
door
listen, I'm
over
gonna
and
move
control
on.
my dog.